right, guys, what is up? It is episode 5 of Inside the LPGA podcast, and I am so happy to be joined by Adam Stanley and Emma Talley. I just want to say, before this episode started, since this is pretty much the Swedish LPGA podcast at this point, I Googled how to say hello in Swedish, and it's just like, hello. So it's pretty much the same thing. I wanted to start the podcast out like that, but I was like, okay, that's actually sounds
It's just
a
sing-songy way of saying it.
Hello.
Everything's
Exactly.
fine. Yeah.
But how's it going, Adam? What have you been up to?
This is certainly a sprinting part of the summertime. Obviously, as you know, folks who've been listening to this podcast over the last little while know, I also obviously cover the men's game, and things have been pretty busy on that side. Obviously, I was out of town covering the PGA, and then of course my beloved RBC Canadian Open was just last week, and then I'm off to Pinehurst for the U.S. Open, and intermixed in all of that is of course the U.S. Women's Open, which we covered, and the KPMG Women's PGA Championship is coming up in just a couple weeks as well. So just really trying to be like present when I'm like home with my kid and my wife, but it's a big working time as well, but it's great. It's great. It's the big events. It's a lot of fun.
I feel like the RBC Canadian Open is basically Adam's tournament. I see the most coverage from Adam compared to any other outlet, so I'm love
doing my best
but
up there. I'm trying.
You're crushing it.
There was two years ago, real quick. 2 years ago, Brooke Henderson won on the Sunday of the RBC Canadian Open, so that was like equally the best and like the worst thing that ever happened.
She's like, I'll show you.
Yeah, it's like you guys distracted by something.
To me?
I'll give you something to pay attention to. Yeah, exactly. Emma, what's going on? What's cooking on your end, Emma? How are you?
I'm golfing, y'all. Just golfing.
With her short hair.
Short hair, don't care. Yeah, and then last week I played ShopRite, and my husband was on my bag, and it was actually so fun. We were very afraid that it was going to go terrible. That was his first LPGA tournament that he's caddied for me. It was so much fun. I know this sounds a little crazy from a professional golfer, but I had my first under par round, but made a birdie on the second round, the very last hole to shoot under this year.
Go.
I've had a lot of over par scores this year, so it's progress, not perfection. So just going to keep going, and actually decided to fly home. I missed the cut, so I flew home to see my coach, and then I'm headed to the 2 Epson Tour events, and then back on LPGA for the Dow in a few weeks. So just tidying up my game and doing some media, y'all.
We have a lot to unpack this episode. We have to talk about the insane win from Linnea. I mean, we'll get into that. And we also haven't caught up since Yuka Sasso won the U.S. Women's Open. Woo! There's a lot to talk about. And we're going to be catching up with Linnea in this episode. But until then, we have to do our slays of the week. Adam, what's your slay?
Man, I gotta give a shot. I think Megan Kang has got to be my slay of the week last week. I mean, just kind of watching her handle things as well as she did, considering obviously the finish wasn't what she would have wanted, and obviously we're going to get into this in a little bit, but just the way that she handled it, the way that she kept the pedal down. I think she still shot 5 under or whatever it was on Sunday at the ShopRite, and then was so firmly in the mix, and then things didn't go her way, and then at the end she was still more than fine to kind of talk about her day and what happened, and then the full-on admission of I'm proud of the way that I battled, to come out and probably say something like that when you fell just short and you knew exactly what you needed to do and didn't quite do it. I think that is a deserving slay of the week. Very, very quickly, too much PGA Tour talk, but a side slay, if you will. Scottie Scheffler wins again on the PGA Tour at the Memorial.
Insane.
5 wins this season. Unbelievable.
But not as
stuff,
insane as Nelly, sorry.
It's not, because he stopped, he stopped the wins.
Okay.
They were all kind of mixed in different spots.
Yeah.
Nelly just kept going. So side slay to Scottie, but Megan Kang, shout out to her, slay of the week for her.
Yeah,
Hope, what about you?
That was a really big slay from Scottie too, especially having his baby there, his newborn baby. That just made me emotional.
It's different these days.
I know. I was like, oh, and he's a dad now. So that was a big slay. I guess that's allowed even on
a side slay, like a micro slay.
A micro slay, just a little tiny one.
A side order of slay.
I had kind of a side order of slay. I'm not letting that
I caught
go
that.
unnoticed. I was like, we have to point that out.
I was like, I don't want to interrupt, but that was a good one.
I liked that. My slay, It was actually funny. I was texting you guys before. I was like, I don't even know what my sleigh is because thankfully I've had such a boring last week, which was so needed and so nice. But so yeah, that was really great. It's actually my mom's birthday today, which
happy
is really cool. So
birthday.
Let's
that's
go.
a
Happy
sleigh.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
T-bar blessed. If you follow the LPGA on Instagram, you will see her
Peep the-
username. She comments on
Peep the comments.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she comments on everything. Her username is T-bar blessed. Absolutely iconic. Okay, so like we said, we have to get
Yeah.
into this episode and we're going to change it up a little bit. We just did our sleighs of the week. And you know who had a big sleigh? Linnea Ström. And we are going to catch up with her, so roll the interview. Okay, Linnea, welcome to Inside the LPGA podcast. First and foremost, congratulations. We are so excited for you. What a deserving champion. And I just want to dive right in. Have you even had time to wrap your head around what happened on Sunday?
I mean, barely. I feel like everything is just floating together. Like Sunday was such a long day for me. I mean, I think I went up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I got ready, I did my warm up, and I was third group out and obviously played great, I was just so excited about having the round that I had. So I didn't really think about anything else. Like whatever happened would
Yeah.
obviously just be a bonus. But I mean, it was just crazy. Like I feel like I'm replaying it in my head and like talking to family back home, talking to my coach. Like everyone is just so excited, and I'm just so happy because I feel like I've obviously worked hard, but there's so many people around me too that's always believed in me, like always, wanted me to get that win. So it's just a very big relief. And yeah, it's a great feeling, but I don't know if I've quite understood it yet.
Totally fair. Well, we got to go right into this. We got to go into this picture right here. Can you see it?
Go
I don't
that
know,
way,
it's a
Lynn.
little
Yes,
blurry.
yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I
yeah.
mean, it was when my caddy had and his friends had a flight in the evening, and I was like, "Are you like you can make the flight if you want to?" And he was like, "Are you joking? You know we're gonna go." So
That's so
after,
fun.
so I went over after the prize giving, did a press conference and everything, and then I was like, I knew where they are. I'll head over there. So I mean, it was
Yeah.
so much fun to just sit down, like celebrate, and have everyone there. And my dad was obviously there as well. So it was pretty amazing to kind of get that moment all together rather than rushing off like to the airport. So we kind of got an evening together. So yeah, it turned out well.
That's so nice. How good
Yeah.
did that? I don't even know if you're like a beer girly, but how good did the beer taste in that
I mean,
moment, drinking it
I'm
from the
usually
trophy?
not, but I didn't really care at that moment. I was just whatever you guys want.
You're like, it literally does not matter. Let me
Yes.
just get that
Yeah.
trophy in my
Yeah.
hands. Oh, I
Pretty
love
fun
that.
memory.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you started the day at T52, ended at first. When did it actually like cross your mind that, okay, I could win this thing? When did that like cross your mind?
I don't think it did until probably after the birdie on 18, if I'm being honest. Because,
Mm,
I mean, it was just so weird being in that position, knowing that the leaders hadn't even teed off yet. Um, and obviously, like, I knew that the course was quite scoreable. They had a tee moved up on number 3 and number 18. So I feel like there were like eagle opportunities out there. Um, So I think that kind of helped me to just stay in the
mm-hmm.
present. And, I didn't really have to worry about anything. There were no scoreboard pressure at all. So I could kind
Yeah.
of I tried to reset after every hole. And it was funny after the round, I told my caddy George, I was like, great job. And he was like, this was the easiest caddy round I ever done. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, because I never had to like give you the talk because you were so in it. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And he was like, yeah, like you were so in it. So I was like, I thought about saying something, but he didn't. So he was like, I just kept going.
Yeah. I want to ask you one of my questions kind of relates to that. I've always thought about like what is in the zone, and I think we all feel that when we're in it. And then sometimes you go back and you're like, how was I so in the zone? How do you feel like, I mean, you almost shot 59. First of all, my first part of the question is, did you ever think about 59? And then the second thing is, how did you get so low? You know, like sometimes when you shoot 5, 6 under, it's hard to get to 7 or 8, but you just kept going. I mean, you just kept going. How did you stay in the zone? In the zone, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, I did not. I think like mid round, it kind of crossed my mind once, like if I keep going, like it
Hmm.
could be close to 59. But then towards the end, I didn't. And Marina Alex asked me after 18, she was like, "Did you think about the eagle on the last for 59?" And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't." And I was like, I was obviously still trying to do my best, but I did not have that in my head, like standing on the tee box. I don't think it would have
Wow.
turned out differently if I did, but it was just
Hmm.
I don't know, I just didn't think about it, which I think I probably did a good thing, like not really knowing what my score was at. Um,
Hmm.
but then on the other hand, obviously it would be super cool to shoot 59. But yeah, I don't know. I think front nine was quite easy. Played very steady, like good off the tee, gave myself lots of opportunities, and then made a turn. And then I think on 12 and 13, 12 I hit my tee shot a bit left. So I had a kind of a tricky shot, ended up making a good par. And then 13 missed the green on the right, so made up and down for a par. And I think those pars just gave me a little bit of extra energy boost because, you know, when you're kind of
Hmm.
in the zone like that, it would be kind of interrupting having a bogey. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of gave me like a little bit of a boost to just, okay, just let go of those holes, continue, put myself in the fairway on 14, hit a good shot, and then got back on the birdie train. So yeah, it's yeah, and then I was actually the hole I was the most happy about was 15 because I'm having nightmares about that tee shot. You know, the par three, and I'm a draw player, so it shouldn't be that hard, but for some reason I do not like when the wind is off the left, you know, like strong left to
Uh-huh.
right. You can miss it right. And I did on Saturday and ended up making a double on that hole. So I think 15, it was really like a key hole for me. And like it's towards the end of the round. And I had told George on Saturday, I was like, I don't like that tee shot. Like we need to do something different for tomorrow. So I think it was a bit tricky situation for George. He was like, do I say something? Do I not say something? But then I had a little bit of luck on my side because the wind was a little bit more helping off the left. So rather than
Yeah.
hitting a 4 iron, I could go and hit a 6 iron. So I was
Right.
a little bit more comfortable, like with the club, hit a perfect shot right at the pin, and almost made a birdie on that one. So it was an easy par. So I think after that, I was like, okay, done with that hole. 3 more to go. Just, yeah. So,
Amazing. Seriously unreal. So another quickie, like every player that I know of that's won for the first time, they've bought themselves a piece of jewelry or a new purse or whatever. What are you going to buy? Have you thought about it?
I mean, I have always told myself, I was like, when I do get my first win, I'm gonna buy myself a Chanel. But I mean, it's tempting, but then I know myself, I'm gonna be there in the store and I'm gonna be like, maybe not. Maybe, exactly. But I mean, I love handbags and I feel like it's something you can keep forever.
Yes.
So I think it would be a great treat to treat myself with something. But we also in the summer we're gonna go to Mallorca in Spain for a week to celebrate with my mom's 60th. So
Oh,
I
wow.
also feel like it would be fun to treat her with something special as well. So I'll have a think about it. Yeah, but I look
Oh,
forward to
that's
that.
so cute.
It'll be a nice family holiday break in the middle of the season, so it'll be good.
Okay, and I love love. Do you think this is gonna force your down under Aussie boyfriend to propose anytime soon? Like, is he like, my wife is now an LPGA winner? Like, I think he's
I
just the
know.
nicest guy and he's so fun and
Yeah.
Patrick loves him and he's just a good guy. And I heard that he's gonna come out now. He's gonna come
He
out a bit
is.
more.
Well, he's actually here this week. He came here yesterday. He drove from Chicago, so it was fun to see him. And I have a lovely house family here. We're staying on the golf course. So I just feel like it's going to be a very chilled, relaxing week. And, hopefully I'm still going to try and really, refocus for the tournament this week. But it was kind of nice yesterday to just have a day off, and we had a nice dinner, everyone together here. So yeah, it's fun to have family around. Obviously, Dad last week, and then my boyfriend Corey coming this week. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So one of my sponsors, Serve Pro, they're the official mulligan ball of the LPGA Tour. And so I'm asking everybody, and this is going to be hard for you to answer, I feel like, at this moment of your life, but if you could take a mulligan, whether it be in golf or in life, where would your mulligan be?
Oh wow. Mm, ah, oh wow, that's a really tricky one.
Don't think too hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think I have a mulligan in my life. I mean, I feel like it's pretty, I've done the things I want, like going to college in Arizona, like now living in Arizona, having family in Sweden. Um, with golf, yeah, I'm
Was
not
there a shot
sure.
yesterday that you were like, oh, if I could have hit that one shot, I would have shot a 59?
Uh, I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, probably. I would say actually the one shot that I am a little bit disappointed with, it's the tee shot of number 12, because it's,
Uh-huh.
it's a pretty short hole, and I feel like you stand on the tee box and you feel like you have a good birdie opportunity. And I pulled the tee shot a bit left, and I feel like I got a little bit in my head over that tee shot, and like rather than, just commit to the line. And like I said earlier, I ended up having to really save a par there. I had kind of a tricky lie.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that tee shot is one where I was
Okay.
like, probably could have stepped away because I wasn't really sure over the ball. I could have stepped away, refocused, and hit it down the fairway, and maybe give myself a little bit of a easier second shot into that green.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I've got one more question for you. Obviously, I feel like me and you, like our careers have been somewhat similar up until
yes,
now.
yeah.
Um, how did you, what would you say to yourself, your 2020s? You were on some Epson tour in 2020 or
hmm
2021?
21.
Okay, what would you say
Oh
to
no, sorry,
yourself as
20,
a
22. Sorry.
22? What would you
Yes.
say to your 22 self? Like, most people are like, oh, she won, she shot 60, like, wow. But I always think, like you said before, we all work so hard and
Yeah.
we all have been grinding. I mean, me and you've been out here for a long time. And I think sometimes it's hard, like, because everyone just sees Thursday through Sunday, but no one sees the grind that we go through, like, week in to week out. So, first of all, what would you say to your 2022 self? And how do you feel like all of that has kind of prepared you for this moment?
I would say, because I started to really struggle in 21, and that was the year when I felt like nothing was working. I didn't know what to do. And that's when I started playing with my eyes closed to just get me through every round, which was obviously not fun. And
Do you actually
actually,
mean with your eyes closed?
I did, yeah. Except my driver, I pretty much hit everything with my eyes closed. Yeah,
What?
yeah, I know. Yes, and I've kind of had a little bit as a practice tool before because you feel your balance very good when you do it. So I've done it like when I was younger growing up. But I obviously never intended to bring any of that out on the golf course. But it got to this stage where it was just a horrible feeling not knowing, not having any control of anything. So that kind of became my security. And speaking of mulligans before, that's probably one thing I would change because looking back at it, it probably wasn't the best because I did it for probably 5 months throughout the season. And I think I probably would have sold it quicker if I just forced myself to push through it rather than go to my safety zone. So that's probably one thing I would have changed. But to be honest, I kind of felt a relief when the 21 season was over and I lost the card. I think it was good for me because then going back to Epson, there was a little bit less pressure. I combined playing the Epson with LET, which was good because then I could play more in Europe. I could spend more time in Sweden with my family. So it was just, yeah, it was,
It worked out.
it worked out in the end, and I think it did because I had the right mindset going into the 22 season on the Epson because it's probably a little bit hard to understand, but it was a relief, and I was almost happy about going playing Epson.
Oh, trust me, I
And
get it.
yes, and I'm sure you get it too, because like you said, I feel like, our careers have been quite similar. And I think it's just important to remember that if you have the game for it, you're good enough, you have that in the back of your head and know that I will get back there. I will get back to the LPGA eventually. So I tried to not think about it. And then I had a win on the Epson quite early. So that helped out a little bit with that too, to kind of just take the year, get back on track with my game, play with my eyes open again. Like that was a big step in the right direction for me. Because then I felt like normal. I obviously didn't feel normal in 21. No one knew about it. I don't think I even told my caddies about it. Like it was basically just,
Yeah.
family, my team, some close friends that knew about it. So it wasn't really anything I talked about when I was in it because I tried to just avoid it. But it maybe would have
Yeah.
been easier, to speak about it or do something about it rather than just playing. Because I also played, like you said, I played every single tournament. I probably should have taken a month off, just go home, reset everything, and then get back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's always easy to say that after the fact, but
I
it's so
know.
hard when you're in it as a player just
It's so
because it's like
hard.
you're like, well, it's another opportunity. Like maybe this is my week. And
Yes.
but I totally get the burden because when I lost my card last year, I was telling Hope, after Evian last year, I didn't make a cut the rest of the year, and I missed a lot by one. And same situation, like I knew that I only need to make one cut to keep my card, and so the cut was just in my mind. I wasn't playing well, and my swing wasn't great, and at the end of the season, when I finally like lost it all, I was like, I feel like this
Yes.
huge burden is off
Yeah.
my chest because
Yeah. You can
you're
breathe
holding
again.
so
Yeah.
much pressure. So
Yeah.
I totally understand that. And I think, I was just telling Hope, like, too many times we force things to happen, and sometimes the universe is just telling you things. And, I think Epson Tour is a great place to kind of get your confidence and game back. And,
Yeah.
I think that probably did help you get to this point because you needed that reset, and it kind of, the universe forced you to reset. So it's
Yeah.
just really cool to see from a player's perspective. Like, it was so fun to watch, and
Thank
because we
you.
all know what it feels like, and it was just really cool. And I love George. I love you. I think you're both great for the tour and always
Yeah.
friendly. So just congratulations, and I hope that the rest of the year, and I'm so glad that this gives you just like the ability to kind of make your own schedule too, which is like such a relief.
Yes.
I always tell people
Yeah.
like the top 40 are there because they've all won a tournament and they can just do what they want to do.
Yeah, and
It's
you
hard
get
to
the
get into
time.
that top
Exactly. You
40.
get the time to work on your game, get better, and keep improving. Because, I mean, we both know that like it's so tough out here, and it's tough on the Epson too. And I think that's important to remember. Like we are out here, we're playing against the best players in the world while working on stuff like both on and off the course. And sometimes this is hard to get everything to work at the same time. But it's just so important to remember. I mean, even last week, if I think back on Saturday, I mean, I was standing on 18 tee box on Saturday, knowing that I had to make a birdie to make the cut. And if I wouldn't have made that birdie, I would have missed the cut by one shot.
It's crazy.
And like you said, Emma, like it's so many times we miss the cut by a shot. And if you make that cut on a number and then have a good Sunday, it can change the whole week. So golf is really interesting like that. It's just, yeah, you never know.
Good word. Good word.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yes.
I think I would have said something else that could have been 4 letters. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think the moral of the story here is that everything happens for a reason. That's what I'm kind of gathering. But very last question, Linnea, are you glad that you didn't give up the game whenever you were struggling? I think it all worked out for you.
Yes, I'm very glad. And I think that's important to remember too, because there were times where I thought about it. And, you know, I've had people close to me that's struggling. My brother used to play, he struggled and he gave up the game. And, you know, I think just inside of me, I kind of felt like I'm not just doing this for myself. Like I have had this family coach behind me that supported me ever since I was 10 years old. So I just felt like I had to push through it. And I obviously wanted to as well. I wanted to do it for myself as well. But it's a bit easier when you feel like you have the support system around you that help you get through it. And, you know, they're going to love you either way, but they obviously want you to succeed. So yes, I'm very happy that I got through
it. Well, we are so happy for you too. And I mean, what a deserving champion. Congrats, Linnea. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun talking to you.
Yeah. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck this week. Another tournament. Another one. It never stops.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, it's always nice to catch up with a Rolex first time winner, which I think we just have to jump straight into her win because it is the craziest thing I've seen in a long time, which is so funny because we've talked so much about Nelly and how she's performed this season and how crazy it is, but Linnea made the cut on the number. I mean, going into the final round, I don't think you expect, I mean, I don't know, we're going to get to this in a minute, but I don't feel like you can expect to win at that point, or you just have to do something insane, and that's what she did. She fired a final round 11 under. She shot a 60. She almost shot a 59, guys. That is so crazy. I was watching the tournament, but I wasn't covering it for LPGA Now like I usually do. My guy, Adam Stanley, was covering for me. Adam, you were following this tournament very closely. Did you ever expect this? Like, did you have Linnea winning on your bingo card?
I mean, certainly not. And you know, you kind of look at just the general like body of work, right? When the numbers were all crunched at the end of the day, she's been the only person in LPGA Tour history to ever shoot a 60 and then go on to win. And I think there's been 6 rounds of 60 in LPGA Tour history, and then obviously just the 159 from Monaco. However, you know, many 10 and a half, 20 years ago, right? So yeah. It's a unique number. It's a singular kind of number that we just don't really get on the LPGA Tour all that often. And the most probably curious thing about being the guy that, you know, wrapped up the event and put together the package and wrote about what happened is like, oh yeah, wow, Linnea, awesome, what a round. And you're just kind of thinking, well, somebody's going to come along and jump that number because, you know, there's still 3.5 hours left in the day, if not longer. And it just never happened, right? That number was just the number. Everyone else was chasing it. There were some incredible other rounds posted by some of the girls in that late afternoon, in the final groups, in the chasing pack. But the fact that I think that was the thing that really stood out to me is that she shot the number, she posted the number, she hung around, and it just stayed. And then that was it. Then she won the tournament. So, you know, very, very cool to see her go as low as she did. Made that chip in eagle on number 9, ended her day with 3 straight birdies, almost had another pitch in for an eagle on the last hole, which would have got her the 59. So absolutely every part of her game was dialed. And Emma, when you see that cut, you're making the cut on the number just like Linnea did, and then all of a sudden you're climbing the leaderboard like she did. And are you watching the leaderboard to see somebody go as low as that, or what is kind of your mental approach to things when you make the cut on the number?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ShopRite event is a unique tournament because it's just a 3-day tournament. So obviously when you make the cut on the number and you still have half of the tournament left, mentally like anything can happen. But I think in a 3-day event, it is a little different because once you make the cut on the number, you only have 18 holes to go. And I think especially that course, there are a lot of birdies out there, and I don't know. But if it were me, I would just be like, you know what? I'm just going to go for everything and see what happens because you're not going to really lose much, and you can make some birdies. And once you get going, the birdies just start falling and you're like, oh, I'm having a good day. And I think it also helps on those greens. They're Pro-Am greens, and so they do get bumpier as the day goes on. So she had fresh greens that morning, which is like pretty clutch from that standpoint. The fact that this doesn't happen very often, someone doesn't just shoot 60 on a normal day. And so I just am so excited for her. I love seeing a new winner. I love seeing, she's one of those people, she works so hard. She's always on the putting green. And so I was just really, really excited for her. Her dad was on the bag. George was on the bag. Her dad was at the event. And I think that's really cool. Like, I don't think her family gets to come out often. And just from my experience this year of having my dad out there with me some, like, you forget that this is a process. Like, we don't all just turn pro and that was like the beginning. There's a lot of stages up until this point that get us here, and our parents have a big part of like our success. And so I think to have her dad there was just like a full circle moment for her.
I talked to her caddy, George, like you mentioned, Emma, and he used to play professionally, and he said it's the best round of golf he's ever seen. Obviously.
That's
like,
cool.
Duh.
That gives me chills.
That's really neat.
I know. So it's cool.
Yeah, that is so cool. And I just feel like if someone says that to you, it almost puts everything into perspective. Like, the best round he has ever seen. That's pretty cool.
And he got to be on the bag for it too.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm so proud of her. I'm like, you need to be proud of yourself too. Like, you also obviously helped out with that. But
it's one of those blackout moments, I feel like as a player, like, you're almost in a blackout stage where, not saying that he didn't have to do much, but when the putts are falling, and you just got to roll with it. And so I feel like she was probably like in blackout mode, and he was just like, yep, that looks great.
He's like, you like that line? All right, go for it, girl.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah, totally.
You want a water? I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
keep her
so
calm
funny.
and just keep going. And he's great. Like, as you know,
he's
Hope,
awesome.
like, he would be perfect for that, like keeping calm and just keeping her going and not worrying about like what the result and at that point, like, you don't even think that that's probably going to win. You're just like, I'm just going to try to get a top 5. I'm just going to try to get a good finish. Not like, oh, let's make one more birdie so we can win. Like, I don't think that's what she was actually thinking on the last hole. Like, oh, I'm about to win the tournament. She was just like, this has been so cool. you know?
Like, she was like done 3 hours before like anyone else, right? So Emma, to your point exactly. Yeah, it's like at that point, no way was she like, oh my God, I'm about to win for the first time in the LPGA Tour.
Yes.
She's just trying to go as deep as possible, which is
it worked.
Incredible insights. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of insights, Adam, what a great way to go into this. So Adam is officially our stats guy for now. And so we're going to talk about KPMG Performance Insights. They sent over some really great stuff. So Adam, just break it down for us. What Linnea did during that final round.
Yes. So we are going to be completely dialed in with Linnea. So let's start with her win probability. She had a win probability of 0.001% entering the final round. That bumped up to 2.2% after making the turn, but still just microscopic odds to actually try to win this golf tournament when she started it. She also had 20 putts in the final round, as we talked about already, which was the fewest in a round of a win since the tracking began in 1992. And she was also 4 for 4 in putting from 10 to 15 feet. And it was a big turnaround because she was 2 for 11 in that same stat for the first 2 rounds. So she found something worked. The momentum was on her side. And despite the fact that she had that, like I said, microscopic probability to actually win the tournament, such is golf. and strange things happen every once in a while, but you get on a roll and things turn in your favor, and that's exactly what happened at the ShopRite. So yeah, some pretty fabulous numbers because of how small the odds were, but beat the odds, win the tournament. What a run.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Crazy. Seriously. And you know what, though? She's not the only Swede that won yesterday, guys. We've got to talk about Linn Grant. What is going on in the Swedish house, like in the water? I don't know what they're drinking.
You could say it was an excellent Sunday.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Dad joke.
Immediately kicks you out of the podcast. No.
Producers ejected me from the room. He's
Andrew's
gone.
like, get out of here. No, but so Linn Grant won the Scandinavian mixed events, which was actually in her hometown in Sweden. And for those who don't know, it's a DP World Tour event, and men and women play in it. So like Madeline was playing in it. There were a few other, I can't remember exactly, but Linn was also big day for deficits, and the Swedish girls, she was, I think, 11 back going into the final round. And I mean, she probably wasn't even thinking about winning either at that point. But just like, I'm here in my hometown. She probably had a really good following out there. She made history once again. She's the only female to win on the DP World Tour, and now she's done it twice.
I don't know where the game of golf is going to go. That might be for a different podcast. We could probably talk about that all day. But I do think in some world, it would be cool to always have that aspect of like men and women at the same golf courses, because, it just puts a whole different perspective. I've always said this, but like, I don't even think you can compare men and women's games because we play the game so differently. So the fact that she won against all the guys, she's done it 2 times. She was 11 strokes back, just like we said about Linnea. Like, it's pretty crazy that someone comes back from that far behind. Like you said, Hope, I don't think she was probably thinking about winning the golf tournament, but she did. And she's a beast. Like, she hits the ball a mile. She came out. Nice. Yeah, her swing is great, and she's very focused. She's one of the most focused players, I think, on our tour. She's always kind of doing her thing in her own lane, like at the gym, working out. Like, she just does the job. She lives the grind. So congratulations, Linn. Congratulations, Linnea. And also Yuka Sasso. Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about Yuka, just because I have a soft spot for Yuka. We're both Callaway staffers, and so we've done a lot of stuff with like Bob Does Sports and like all the peeps, and she is just such an amazing winner, so humble. She definitely doesn't give herself enough credit, but she's just an amazing winner, and I think it's really cool. She's now won the U.S. Open with 2 different flags, which is like, that is just amazing. Not many people
can say that.
And the only 2 she has won were with her parents' flags, which are different. Filipino flag and the Japanese flag. So very cool, and I'm very happy for her. And the golf course, I think we talked about this last podcast, but the golf course was playing much different when I played it in 2015. That was very obvious. The golf course looked very hard, and I was sitting on my couch thinking, I'm so glad I'm not there shooting 80. So that was my thought of the week from a player. I texted a couple other girls that are like, top 50 in the world.
Nelly shot 80. You're
good.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I texted some other girls that didn't get to qualify for the US Open, and all of us said the same thing. We're like, oh, this is brutal. Yeah. So yeah, Adam, you were there. Hope you were there. I want to know. Tell me the scoop.
Well, yeah, I was playing extremely difficult. I was like, I don't even want to look at this course. I'm scared just looking at it. But it was, I'm just kidding. But it was a good week, and the crowds were huge. Yuka Sasso has now won 2 major championships. Obviously the same major. She's won the U.S. Women's Open twice. The first time she won it, basically, that was her way into the LPGA, which was insane. So what does that just say about players like Yuka or players like Minji that come up in those big moments? Like, Adam, just from your perspective, what does it say about those players that can really come up in those big moments and win those events?
Yeah, I was going to add Hannah Green to that mix too. Just
Yeah.
based on seeing what happened in the leaderboard. Hannah Green, I think she shot like 4 under par or something like that in the final round. It was a few weeks ago now, but again, firmly in the mix. We're talking about Nellie's absolutely spectacular season, but had it been basically any other year, we'd all be talking about Hannah Green and her absolutely incredible season as well. So you're right. I was going to say Minji. I was going to say Hannah. You look at Yuka. You win 2 times on the LPGA Tour, and both of them are major championships. U.S. Women's Open, the toughest test on the schedule. You look at someone like Lydia Ko, who is inching ever closer, millimeters away from joining the Hall of Fame, and that kind of speaks to a body of work of tremendous results at big time tournaments. And I think again we talked a little bit about Scotty Scheffler off the top, and when you're comparing just golfers who are at the top of their game when it comes to big moments, it's almost as if they have an extra gear, maybe physically, but certainly mentally as well. I've obviously never been in the arena, and Emma, of course, has been, but from an observation standpoint, when you see the same kind of names on leaderboards at major championships year after year after year, you just kind of think, well, they've got something. They've got the X factor. They've got the it factor. We are seeing something that not everyone has, and that's why they play so well at the big tournaments. So, all the names that you mentioned, a couple more, and it's just so exciting that we've got a couple more major championships to go. Obviously, the Solheim Cup, obviously the race to Simi Globe at the end of the year. So there's still so much to play for. So don't be surprised to see some of these big names continue to kind of climb this ladder over the next few weeks.
Yeah, Adam, and speaking of big events, this week we have the Meijer LPGA Classic, and then the next week we have the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. So we've already talked about how crazy of a time it is right now for golf, especially women's golf. I mean, all the majors are happening, but before we get to KPMG at all, I want to talk about Meijer this week. Leona won last year, and we have to make our picks, guys. So, Emma, I'm sending it over to you first. Based on everything you've seen recently, who do you think is going to win this week?
Okay, I'm going to give you a little recap just so the peeps know what this course is about, and then I'll give you my pick, and then obviously I'll let you guys pick since, I have to let you. So basically this golf course, I think it sets up really good for someone who hits a draw, but it also sets up well for someone who hits a long fade. So for me, it was always a bit tough because I couldn't get over the bunkers. So I would have to, the fairways are kind of tight. So you have to, if you hit a fade, you can't quite get over the bunkers. So you have to aim just right of it. And then that makes the fairway even smaller. So I think, it sets up really well for someone who hits a long fade. I think that's the best person it sets up for. However, it's a great golf course. It's definitely a ball striker's golf course. And just like the U.S. Open, I'm actually going to go with my good friend, Allie Ewing. She had her best finish in a major at the U.S. Open. She does hit it far. She is a ball striker. And so I'm going with Allie Ewing. Okay, now y'all can make your picks.
Good pick.
Adam?
I'm going to go with Nellly.
Wow.
She's
one more there.
What a shocker. But I'm going through the list. I'm taking a look. I'm listening, Emma, to what you said. And then in my head, I was like, well, who the heck else am I going to pick? And that's who I'm going to land on because why would I not? So I think to your point, has won this tournament before, shot a 62 in the I think third round of the year that she did win. Her 25 underscore, the lowest ever at this particular tournament. So how could I not pick Nelly Korda to do it all over again one more time on Father's Day? I think it's Sunday's going to be Father's Day. So should be. That's my pick for Nelly.
I like it.
Next up after that is the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, which I love that tournament. It's one of my favorites every single year. I think the PGA of America puts on a great event, and I don't want to go too far into it just because for those watching or listening, we are going to actually have an episode that week as well. So usually we do every other week. So, but we're not doing that. We're changing it up so that we have a major podcast episode. So we're not going to go into it too far, but they are playing at Sahali. They're returning there, so it should be a good week. But yeah, stay tuned because we're going to talk way more about that. But for now, before we close it out, y'all, let's do our quick 9.
I have some good ones. I think my quick 9. I'm going to make it quick, but I am going to explain a little bit. Okay. Lauren Coughlin, people.
Listen up.
Her career has been really interesting to me. She was a good college player, kind of just like floated her way onto the LPGA Tour, did well, and then all of a sudden in the last year, she has turned it on. Last year at KPMG, she finished tied for 15th. As of this year, she has 3 top 10s this year. She also has Terry Mack, who was Annika's longtime caddy on her bag, who said he would never come back unless it was for the right player. And he's caddying for her. Cool. So I think he sees something in her. I think he's a great caddy. I really feel like she's really putting the effort in on every aspect of the game. So she is my not so quick 9. The other 2 will be quicker, but she's just an interesting player to me that I think is very she's trending in all aspects of her game at the moment. Morgan Matreau, such a cutesy girl. I love her. She was fighting an injury last year, but barely kept her card. We were in the locker room and we were like, I was like, you don't need to play Pelican. You'll be fine. And anyway, she kept her card and she's been healthy this year. She won last week on the Ladies European Tour in Evian, which is right across the from her family where she grew up. And then last week she had a solo 5th at ShopRite. So I think she's a player to watch. And then Marina Alex is someone that I hope we can get on the podcast soon. She's in her 11th year of playing. I think that's an accomplishment in itself to play that long and play this consistent. She's always been a good player. She's been on Solheim Cup. She's won. She's always just been that player that's there. She's had 2 top 10s in the last 2 weeks. A 6th and a 7th. So I think she is a player to watch. I think her game is really good at the moment. I watched her hit balls last week, and I think she is someone to watch. Boom.
Awesome.
Adam, you go.
Boom. Well, I picked this person as one of my 3 for the quick 9 before even knowing your pick for the win. But so kudos to you, Emma, for the Allie Ewing shout out. Finished so well at the U.S. Women's Open and also finished tied for 8th at the Meijer last year. So insert eyes emoji for Allie Ewing. Also, a couple of returns. Lilia Vu back, obviously had to withdraw from a couple of big time tournaments with her back injury. She's returning. She's teeing it up. So I'm excited to see how she's feeling and how she's playing. And then Lexi Thompson, she's in the field. Obviously, her big announcement that she's retiring at the end of this year. Now that the announcement is off of her back, I'm curious to see if she plays a lot freer and is just able to go out and step on a few necks over the next couple of months. So Lexi, Lilia, and Allie are my 3 for this week.
Nice quickie.
Great job, guys. I got to make this even quicker somehow. So my quick 3, I'm going to start with the Olympics. The Olympics are coming down to the wire. It is approaching quickly. As most of you probably know, it's going to be in Paris, which is so cool. And the cutoff to qualify is actually, oh my God, I almost just choked on myself, is actually KPMG. So that's the last week that you can qualify for the Olympics. And then after that, countries have to confirm everything, but it's coming down, especially the U.S. team, which brings me into my next point, which is Megan Kang. Megan Kang has been playing really well. She almost forced a playoff on Sunday at ShopRite. It didn't work out, but still, a runner-up finish is great. And she's just right outside of that top 15 spots in the Rolex rankings. And if she gets in that top 15, then she will play in the Olympics. And then next up, which also kind of ties back into the Olympics, is Ayaka Fudaway. She tied Megan Kang this last week at ShopRite. She also finished runner-up. And her and Nasa Hataoka are just going back and forth, trying to see who is going to play in the Olympics. Because right now, Yuka Sasso will be representing Japan after her crazy win at the U.S. Women's Open. So those are my quick 3, and those are our quick 9. Good job, guys.
Woohoo!
Let's go. I almost choked, but we got through. We're fine.
She's fine. Everyone who's just listening, she's okay.
I'm fine. Don't worry. But thank you guys so much for doing this. It was fun as always, and we've got some really big weeks coming up. Speaking of big weeks, I want to tell you guys how you can watch the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. You can tune in on Golf Channel, Peacock, and CBS. We got some network TV in there, which will be really awesome. And then, like I said, KPMG is the week after. And I don't know whether people are listening or watching this podcast, but you can actually do both. You can listen wherever you get your podcast, and you can watch on YouTube and LPGA.com. So guys, thank you for watching. Keep sharing, keep engaging. Feel free to rate us or whatever, that helps us out. But yeah, it's going to be a great week. Thanks, guys.
Y'all come back now, you hear? Bye, y'all.